Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the July 10th, 2017 regular meeting of the Milford Board of Aldermen. Please join me as we salute the flag and then remain standing for the moment of silence in memory of four Milford friends who we recently have lost. Joseph J. Prisco, a longtime contributor at our board meetings who was always advocating for our seniors. Ralph Frank Ito, excuse me, a World War II Army veteran and active community member. Mary Powers Kennard, a longtime Milford educator and social worker. And Robert Post, the chairman of Milford's Harbor Commission. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Madam Secretary, will you please take the roll?
Alderman Anderson?
Present.
Alderman Beatty? Present. Alderman Bevan?
Here.
Alderman Beer?
Madam Secretary, Alderman Beer would like to be excused. He's away on business.
Thank you. Alderman Casey?
Here.
Alderman Gurman? Alderman Gennatasio?
Alderman Gennatasio would be excused.
Thank you. Alderman Golden?
Madam Secretary, Alderman Golden would like to be excused.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Alderman Grant?
Here.
Alderman Hardiman? Here. Alderman Shaw? Alderman Smith?
Madam Secretary, Alderman Smith would also like to be excused.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Alderman Veccarelli? Here. Alderman Vitro?
Here.
Alderman Vitale? Here. 11 present, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We have a quorum. The next portion of our meeting is devoted to public comment. Statements are limited to the legislative function of the Board of Aldermen. The time limit granted to each speaker shall be 3 minutes. Residents, taxpayers, and electors may address the board at this time. The board encourages speakers not to express derogatory, insensitive, or offensive statements or to engage in personal attacks against individuals. In order to allow everyone an opportunity to speak, I'd ask that everyone please limit their comments to 3 minutes. Anyone wishing to address the board can do so at this time.
Good evening, Board. Mayor Blake, Attorney Bertram. I'm here because I'd like to share with you my thoughts on the LED lights that are being proposed for the town. I sent an email to Mayor Blake. Pardon me? Oh, I'm sorry, Donna.com. Anyway, I sent an email to Mayor...
Excuse me, you need your name and address before you address the board.
I'm sorry, Donna.co.
For the record, thank you.
236 Buckingham Avenue. Sorry, I guess it was a little hasty here. I'd sent an email to Mayor Blake thanking him, of course, for looking out for our financial health and financial well-being of the city. He's doing a great job. However, I'm very, very concerned about the potential LED lights that are being proposed to come to town. Personally, I think that there could be other alternatives, such as turning off 20% of the city street lights to reduce our budget, our exposure to the finances by 20%, which would equal the savings on the LED lights that are being proposed. I'm also asking the board if you would consider doing a referendum to the public for the citizens to vote on such a act as to put in LED lights. I've heard so many people very unhappy about this potential harmful, in my opinion, lighting that can interrupt your sleep cycle. It creates darker shadows. It it hurts your eyes if you look at them. I have an astigmatism, and I see auras around the lights because of the astigmatisms. So it's very unhealthy. It keeps you awake and so forth. So I'm asking you, the board, who has hopefully some kind of legislative authority, to do some kind of referendum and let the people speak on this topic. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to talk tonight. My name is Gary Kupfer. I'm at 91 Melba Street. Specifically, I know I've addressed some of my comments in emails to some of the folks on the board. Wanted to talk in particular about the Beachcomber Bar, which is in my neighborhood. But in fact, I think these comments apply to many such situations throughout the town. In particular, we have a place of business that is open 5 days a week till 1 a.m. and 2 days a week till 2 a.m. in a residential neighborhood, which at closing time especially creates all kinds of noise and disruption, traffic, and loitering. So I think it's really problematic when it exists within a residential area. Number two, once a week, we have the bar having live music, which is at very high volume. And even though indoors still is acting like a loudspeaker for the entire neighborhood. And so it's extremely, extremely disruptive until 2 in the morning. And then finally, the places in general in a state of unkemptness with garbage. On at least one occasion, we've had to call the Department of Health to come out because of a big can of garbage being left out for some extended period of time. But in general, there's always garbage in and about the place of business. So my understanding is that there's really not very much in the way of regulation or legislation addressing a place of business of this nature, especially when it's the only one of its kind within a neighborhood setting. So I would hope and urge the board to take some action, or at least investigate taking some action. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to address the board at this time? Seeing none, Alderman Vecchiarelli. Agenda item number 3, consideration of minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I move to accept the regular minutes of the Board of Aldermen meeting held on June 5th, 2017.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Alderman Bevan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. On the minutes of the last meeting, I had asked the question of the cost of the crosswalks being painted, and it really wasn't in the minutes. And what the Director of Public Works said, it was under $15 in total cost of the material. And the other item was, I had mentioned, my terminology was crosswalks on the green, and in the minutes it came out as sidewalks at Parsons. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Bevan. Duly noted. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. There is no, under item number 5, there was no special meeting. Under Chairman's report, I'd like to thank Dan Worrell and his staff, and Julie Nash and her staff, and the mayor for putting on a great kickoff to summer event. It was enjoyed by everyone attended, and the fireworks were fantastic. I just wanted to comment on that. Thank you for putting this event on. Everybody certainly enjoyed it, and all the food that was down there was also enjoyed by all. I also at this time would like to announce our fellow Alderman Susan Shaw has resigned from the Board of Aldermen as of August 1st, I'd like to give Susan a little opportunity to say something if she'd like.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Personal and professional matters have gotten in the way of my getting here. And so the better part of valor was for me to resign sooner than run again. I thank the board and I thank all of you. And this is a volunteer position, and if you're lucky enough to serve on it, it's a pretty good gig, even though you don't get any compensation. But all best to you.
Chairman.
Alderman Anderson.
Mr. Chairman, on a note of personal privilege, I would just like to say to Alderman Shaw, who I've worked closely with during the 6 years on this board, you will be sorely missed. I appreciate the support that you've rendered. You have worked hard on behalf of the citizens of Milford and brought light to the debate. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alderman Anderson. Thank the entire board. Thank you. And thank you, Mayor.
I'd like to also thank you personally to Susan for serving on the Board of Aldermen, number one, and number two, the job you did on the Ordinance Committee was, thank you very much. Alderman Vitale.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you, Susan. Again, I'd like to thank you for your time, your tenure, and although it's a voluntary position and there is no perk to it other than being here and doing what you need to do, so thank you for your time and good luck with your pursuance of your extracurricular activities. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Vitale.
Under agenda item number 7, the mayor's report and recommendations. Is there a report from the mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I hope everybody had a terrific 4th of July. I know that the summer is off to a good start. It is with a heavy heart that I also echo this board's sadness for losing such a great contributor, such a great alderman. We are going to miss Susan. She has been an important voice for this board, someone who has always dug deep, done the research, looked into the issues, studied what is in the best interest of Milford. Just such a great contributor to this board. I know that family and your professional life and those obligations absolutely come first. We know that you're going to remain an active part of this community, an important part of this community, and I look forward to working with you in other capacities. And I wish you a lot of luck, and I know we'll see each other a lot, but thank you for your service to this community.
And again, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
So with that, I respectfully request your consideration and action on the one agenda item, 8A. If you have any questions, I am here to answer those.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Under unfinished business, there is no unfinished business. So moving on to new business. Alderman Vecchiarelli, agenda item number 8A.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the request for the attached resolution regarding confirming commitment and participation in a regional household hazardous waste collection center.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Alderman Bevan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the Director of Finance. Peter, could you tell us approximately what the city cost is for the collection center?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, Alderman Bevan, it's my understanding that it is approximately $30,000 per year.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Peter. Follow up, please, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Mayor, I've talked to a number of people about this hazardous waste collection center, and it appears that there's not a lot of people that are aware of what it is. I mean, it's a very important thing that we can do. I think the city needs to advertise a little stronger what can go to the hazardous waste and how it's the whole procedure of it. It just doesn't seem like there's a lot of people that are actually aware of this. I myself go 2 or 3 times a year, so I can tell my neighbors, but that's about it. I'm sure it's been in the paper, it's been around, but maybe we can just jostle it out one more time. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, through you to Alderman Bevan, well noted. We do put out press releases when the hazardous waste collection comes to the Public Works yard. It is available anytime to residents at the Long Wharf facility. This folder here is the list of people who have utilized it over the course of the last year. But just as a quick public service announcement, things that are just that, hazardous waste, things that you cannot dispose of locally, either at the transfer station or one of the other private facilities like on Old Gate Lane, that you can only dispose of at a hazardous waste facility, things like aerosol cans, fluorescent bulbs, kerosene, pool chemicals, paints and paint-related products, cleaners, gasoline, mercury, pesticides, herbicides, things that have to be specifically disposed of appropriately because it would be harmful to the environment if not. Those are things that can be brought to this hazardous waste facility or brought to the Public Works when they are having a specified hazardous waste collection day.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Alderman Casey.
Thank you, through you to the mayor. Just a follow-up on the cost. If I'm reading it correctly, it's based on the amount of 1 to 2 family household units in Milford and the actual usage. Is that how it's determined? If you could just clarify that a little bit if you can.
It's a formula that the RWA puts out for all users or utilizers or municipalities that utilize the service. And again, it's primarily based on population, also taking into account the amount of use from the prior year.
Any more discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Agenda item number 9, there is no other new business. Agenda item number 10, moving on to budget memo transfers. Alderman Vecchiarelli, agenda item number 10A.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the budget memo transfer, number 9 and number 10, Fund 10, FY17.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Agenda item number 11, refunds. Alderman Vecchiarelli.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the refunds in the amount of $17,411.
Second.
Made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Agenda item number 13, reports of standing committees. Are there any reports of standing committees?
Mr. Chairman.
Alderman Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Speaking for Public Works Committee, a number of members of this board have expressed an interest in beautification efforts for Milford, particularly in the downtown area. Alderman Dan Gurman and I are hosting an initial meeting tomorrow evening, 6 o'clock at Cafe Atlantique for those members of this board and members of the public who are interested in joining in the discussion about proposed projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Anderson. Is there any more reports of standing committees? Seeing none, we'll move on to special reports from special committees. there any reports on any special committees? Seeing none, there is no additional executive session. Is there a motion, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to adjourn was made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.